Now, joined in studio, as I am this time every Thursday, by Ron Emick, co-founder and chief executive of Bookbuzz. We're going to look through the latest business and management titles. Morning, Ron. How are you?
Good morning, Ian.
This week's book, The Wide Lens by Ron Adner. Very interesting book about innovation and what can go wrong.
Yeah, yet another book on innovation. I think we covered with you Innovators DNA, open service innovation. I think we covered demand, and this is another one. And it's about a blind spot. What do you think the key to success and innovation is, Ian?
Getting the product out there.
Yes, very good. Customer insight or execution? No, that's wrong. Ron says, no, that's wrong. What the keys to success is managing the innovation ecosystem. And there's an element of there, but it's everybody, the world is so complex, so everything is interdependent. And he explains that it's not the customer, it is the whole value chain that gets to the customer, and even beyond the customer. And he then uses loads, and the strength of the book, it uses loads of really good examples.
And the example, the first one I want to look at is Michelin. It had developed a tire that, if it got a puncture, you could drive for 125 miles without having to stop on this tire. And you think that's a great product. Everybody would love that.
The PAC system. Nobody's heard of the PAC system, and why is that? Because it makes an awful lot of sense, and they did a lot of research, and customers said, yes, absolutely, would love it. And it failed absolutely miserably. And the reason it failed is because Michelin didn't take into consideration the value chain, and where the problem lied in the end is servicing the tires. Because the service garages had to invest in quite expensive equipment to change the tires, and that's something they had forgotten. And there's a problem with the book. It's a really, really interesting book, and you should read it. But there's a great element of sort of in everything you consider. It again uses Sony and the e-reader and why it doesn't work. But it also goes into the future.
Yeah, and the one we were talking about, electric cars, which we think are a great idea. Electric cars, no more expensive diesel or petrol, and yet electric cars could fail.
Well, if you read him, I don't think it's going to work. And the reason, so it's pricey. You can't drive that far. The charging takes a lot. But then it gets into things which are hidden, which is the battery resale value, because what's happening is, because the battery technology is going so fast, by the time you want to resell your battery, the battery is null and void. The savings are limited. But the killer, and I think this is absolutely fascinating, is if we all go home at 5:30, and we start charging our cars, like let's say we all have a car, an electric car, the electric grid will collapse. So, not going to work.
Why does it give any reason why companies don't think of all these troubles, why they don't bring in consultants to, I suppose, road test all their ideas?
Well, first of all, you need to be careful with consultants, because I think there's a famous quote. They're called consultants or experts because they can't spell charlatan.
That's very harsh.
I know, but
well-paid consultants are people too.
And that's it's blatantly obvious. But just a lot of companies don't map out the value chain properly and the interdependencies within the ecosystem. And I think that's what now, and this is where the opportunity lies for SMEs and innovative startups. And it's just not. I think the key message, because we actually started twittering with Ron, and he said the key message is it is not look beyond the end customer.
Worthwhile read for anybody out there?
Absolutely.
Before I let you go, something for the weekend, bank holiday weekend. People will want to have a couple of extra books to have.
Okay, Colin Powell has just issued a new book. It's always worth. There's an interesting book called The $100 Startup. I haven't read it, but that looks like a really interesting one. There is a lady from Ireland who wrote a book called The Cheese Mall. Very easy read. The book I'm going to read is Smart Customers, Stupid Companies, which is about technology, the wave of change, and it gives you lots of reasons why companies are going to 25% of the Fortune 100 are going to be the next Kodak.
Okay, look forward to hearing about it. Ron Emick, co-founder and chief executive of Bookbuzz. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll stick those book titles up on the website a little bit later on.